Hello and welcome to this episode of Carmen's Coaching Corner. My name is Carmen Payne and I am the owner and creator of SOAR Transformational Life Coaching. And the topic of this episode is about grief and loss. In the last month, my immediate family and my extended family have experienced the loss of a loved one. And this compelled me to discuss on this video about a couple of processes that you can use to help you navigate that grief, that feeling of loss. And there are a ton of processes and methods out there, but I'm just going to share a couple of them with you today. And so you may be aware that there's what they call 5 stages of grief. There's grief, denial, anger, bargaining, and acceptance. And you should note that acceptance doesn't mean that you've come to terms with everything. Acceptance means that you've come to terms with your new reality, that your life from this point forward has changed. And you can experience grief through loss of a loved one. You can experience it through losing your job. Maybe you've had a long-time relationship that's just broken up. Maybe you were robbed or your house broken into and they stole something that was really of great value to you personally. So you can experience grief in a variety of settings. You can experience grief when something's just drastically changed in your life that you were just not ready for. And as human beings, you know, we have a wide range of emotions that we experience, and that's what makes us so amazing as beings on this planet. And grief, if you were to put grief on an emotional scale, grief would be on the lower end of that scale, along with things like despair and depression. And for you to jump from grief to pure joy would be a really huge leap. And so when you're going through those 5 stages of grief, as you're moving from grief to denial, and then from denial to anger, and then from anger to bargaining, and then from bargaining to acceptance, you're actually healing because you're gradually moving up that emotional scale that we can experience as human beings. And you may find yourself going, if you've experienced loss recently, you may find yourself going through the stages back and forth between the stages, or you might even skip a stage until you get to acceptance. And all of that is perfectly normal. You just need to give yourself the time to heal from that grief, heal from that loss that you've experienced. And so the first suggestion that I have for you in helping you heal and move through those stages of grief, so that you can get from acceptance maybe to hopefulness, which is higher on the emotional scale, and then from hopefulness further up in that scale, is meditation. Now, meditation is an amazing healing process because as you're going through your grief, it's really important for you to try and find time to reconnect with yourself. And I have a very easy meditation process that you can follow. And it's like that. Basically, it goes like this. Find a time in your day. Maybe it's when you wake up or before you go to bed, or maybe it's easier for you to meditate during the day. Maybe you have time that you can do that. Find a time in your day that works for you, and then find a location that works for you. So it could be in your bedroom, it could be in your garden, it could be in a park sitting under a tree. Just find a space and a time of day that works for you, that you can take yourself away from everything and just meditate. And it can be any length of time, from 5, 10, 15 minutes. The longer you meditate, the faster that you will heal. And the whole point of meditation in this particular situation is so that you can calm your mind and calm all the different systems within your body. For example, your nervous system, your adrenal system. And all you have to do is literally be comfortable, lie down, sit down, whatever works for you, and just close your eyes and focus on your breathing. And I recommend that you take deep breaths in through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 2 seconds, and then breathe out through your mouth. So it'll go something like this. And as you're focusing on your breath, if there are any thoughts that come up for you, things about the past. Maybe you're thinking about the future. Maybe you've got a to-do list the length of your arm. Just allow those thoughts, imagine those thoughts being placed in a bubble, and that bubble just floating away from you, and then just come back and focus on your breath. And don't beat yourself up if you are having a number of thoughts coming through. Just acknowledge them and release. Acknowledge and release, and come back to your breath. The other kind of meditation that I really love to do is a walking meditation. And I know that might sound strange, but it's really a wonderful way, if you're not very good at sitting still for 5 minutes, taking yourself out for a walk, or even walking around your garden, and just focusing on your breath and focusing on what is immediately around you, so that you're focused on the present. And again, you're not focusing on thinking about the past or the future or your to-do list. Maybe you're blessed with living near a park, or maybe you have woods nearby, or a mountain trail, or you have a really nice neighborhood that you can easily access. Just take yourself out for a walk and just focus on the things that are around you. Maybe there's a really lovely tree that you admire. Focus on the tree. So anytime there are any thoughts that are coming up for you, focus on something that you can see in your immediate distance. Maybe it's a neighbor of yours that has a really pretty front yard that you've just noticed. Focus on their yard and bring yourself back into the present. Maybe you're in a park and you're noticing the birds. Just focus your vision and what you're seeing on the birds or the wildlife around you, and just focus on your breath. Just take yourself around wherever you're walking, and just focus on the breath and focus on being present and with yourself and with your inner being. And all of that will really help to soothe your energy and calm the mind and calm any overwhelm that you might be feeling around the grief. The last suggestion that I have for you is affirmations. And affirmations are really powerful and helpful to get you through grief. And again, when you're doing an affirmation, it's no point just reading the words like blah, 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 blah. You need to connect with the words of the affirmation. You need to really feel them in your body. And one suggested affirmation that I can share with you is this. So you take a deep breath in and you really connect with the phrase, and it goes like this. Everything is temporary. This too shall pass. Allowing myself to grieve heals me. Everything is temporary. This too shall pass. Allowing myself to grieve heals me. And there are a number of other affirmations that you can find online for grief, but I particularly like that one because it reminds me that whenever I'm experiencing loss or grief of some kind, I know that it's temporary, that it will pass, and allowing myself to feel these emotions does actually heal me and move me forward. Now, I have a related video to this that talks about emotional freedom technique, and that process is fully explained in that video, but that's another process that you can use to help you through the grief and loss that you've experienced. Now, if you have your own process or technique that's really helped you through grief and loss, please share, because every time you share, you're helping somebody else that may be going through that right now. And if you have a thought that you would like me to coach around or create a video around, please share that with me and email me at soar.tlc@gmail.com. And as always, in love and light, Carmen. To get started, please call or email me or schedule an appointment on my website.